So I think today we should debate. I can be pro and you can be against if you want.
Sure.
Okay, so imagine you are walking in a sort of, not a jungle, but like, imagine an Indian tea plantation sort of place. There's like rolling hills that go into tall mountains and not very many people around. It's really green and it's like a nice crisp air. And then you see something dark, a shadow in the distance. In a flash, it's gone. Whoa. That is what we're talking about today. It's called the Pogeyan.
I looked up a video. Apparently, it's like in some video games, and people
Yeah,
say it differently, but I don't know.
that was like most of the sources I could find were wikis about video games, which wasn't helpful. So the Pogeyan, apparently that word means the cat that comes and goes like the mist, or it's implies that with that word. It's also called the Sirutai, the dog leopard. Yeah, so have you heard of this before?
No, I'd never heard of it before. I did. I looked it up in the Carl Schuker book, Mystery Cats of the World, which is kind of like the Bible for cryptid cats. And there is a piece on it, but it's only like two and a half pages.
Well, I was reading that it wasn't even featured in his book, so that's interesting.
In his book?
Yeah.
Well, I have the updated version. Maybe it wasn't in his original version.
Oh. Yes, so this animal is supposed to be from Kerala in Tamil Nadu, which is the southern tip of India. These are high-altitude grasslands, also known as the Western Ghats. So, again, there are lots of plantations here, like tea plantations. It's like a sort of tranquil part of India. The animal is described as being big, with a long tail, rounded ears. It's darkish gray. It's longer than a dog, and it has a bigger, longer face than a dog. It has a dog-like face, but a cat-like body. So that's what I could find about it.
Yeah. It wasn't the first sighting or first written sighting by, is it Sandesh Kadur in the 20th century?
Yes, so he is a wildlife film producer. He's actually quite successful. He's worked for Planet Earth and stuff like that. He was, I guess, leading or being led by a group of tribespeople making a documentary, and he saw it in the Anamudi grasslands, but he wasn't able to photograph it before it disappeared. Apparently, it was first seen in some paintings, some British people's paintings before then, but I don't know if that counts as a sighting, because anyone can paint anything, as you will see later. But
that's a very good point about cryptids in general and aliens and ghosts.
Right, because people write sci-fi. That doesn't mean that they saw aliens, right?
Yeah, and it's not like we invented imagination this century and people living in caves couldn't imagine anything.
Right, not that the British people were living in caves, the ones who painted this creature, but...
No, I'm just talking in general, like ancient alien theories. I don't know why I talked about aliens, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so then after he saw this creature, Sandesh Kadur tried to capture it with a camera trap, and he was not successful. So that's about the extent of the sightings. It isn't mentioned in other literature. Like I said, the source I read said it wasn't even in that guy's book.
Carl Schuker.
Yes, his book.
Dr. Carl Schuker, yeah. So there on the Cryptid wiki, there's a photo. It says alleged photo, but it doesn't say who took it or when, and it looks like a cat in a zoo.
Right? And that's what I'm saying. There's nothing on this cat. I know I'm supposed to be pro, but sorry.
So that photo is probably, we agree, is probably just a hoax or...
Well, just someone put it on because they needed a placeholder in the picture area. I don't know.
Yeah, all the comments are what? Just get rid of that photo. It shouldn't be there.
I was trying to get more information about this because, again, I am pro this creature. I found a few links to Sandesh Kadur's blog, but when I clicked on the link, it was this website doesn't exist, which was crazy. I was like, whoa, I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone episode. But then I found his current updated blog. I couldn't find any mention of this creature that he says he saw. The only mention I was able to see was in the plot of his children's book, The Cat in the Gat. Here's the description of the plot. Uncle Sandy is hunting far and wide to snap pictures of the slyest, slimiest, teeniest, and rarest animals in Western Ghats. He's particularly itching to find an elusive, mysterious cat which he encountered on his first visit to these mountain forests, teeming with plant and animal life. So he made a children's book about it, but he hasn't featured it, as far as I can tell, in any of his other sections on his website. So my theory, as someone who is supporting the existence of the Pogeyan, is that he doesn't have enough evidence right now, and it's sort of embarrassing for him as a world-class wildlife photographer and filmmaker. He doesn't want to seem like a hokey pseudoscientist, so he's not featuring it, but he still wants to talk about it, which is why he wrote the book. And he might feature it one day when he is able to get a picture.
I don't know. This all seems very suspicious to me.
Let me see when the book was published. The Cat in the Gat was... How do I figure out when it was? Oh, I tried to click order now to buy his book, and it did not work. I got sent on an infinite loop error page. Not looking good. It's so interesting how hard it is to find this book. I feel like I'm an investigative journalist. Oh, okay, I found the full text of it, and it is just a PDF with no publication data. Oh wait, no, here it is. It was published, looks like, in 2014.
Okay.
And do we have a date for the first sighting?
I thought it said the 20th century, so I thought at least more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, it feels like it was not that recent. So I think he wrote it afterwards.
But what about this other guy who came in and tried to...
Which guy's that? See it as him taking all the credit. He's a scientist, a biologist. He just says he's the only person who has studied it, which I don't know how he studied it if there have been no other sightings. Maybe he has a sighting.
Thomas, sorry. No.
Yeah, Dijo. Yeah, he has given it a scientific name, Nilagiri kaduva. No, wait, sorry, that's the other animal he discovered is Nilagiri kaduva, and he says the Pogeyan is the same family called Nilagiri chervan. Here is what he says his studies have found about the animal. It hunts by imitating a dog bark, baiting a dog to attack, and then killing and eating the dog alone. It's a solitary hunter. But I could not find anything about that study. So there are some pictures of Nilagiri kaduva, which is a tiger-like creature. Dijo Thomas does exist. He has an X account, okay? So don't be trying to say he's fake.
No, I'm just saying, like, a lot of these stories...
There's something that says, if the Nilagiri tiger exists, why isn't there a single photograph? And I'm going to guess the answer is, it's hard to photograph things, which is true. I also don't have Twitter, so, like, I can't even read this thread. Or maybe I can. There's real CCTV footage. Dijo Thomas made this little infographic. I request the support of the international community for the conservation of the rarest and important species Nilagiri tiger, discovered and scientifically proved by me. It has his name. It has ancestor of tiger written down. It says still alive in India. I'll send you this. So this is proof that Dijo Thomas is a real guy. Is he a real scientist? Unclear.
Were you sending this Facebook?
It was on Twitter. Dijo Thomas. Yeah, he has a website at dijothomas.com. Oh, it won't let me open it, so that's not a good sign. He has a YouTube channel as well. He also has dijothomas.org and wildlifescientist.com /dijothomas. And an Instagram. So if you go to the link, wildlifescientist.com /dijothomas.htm, it has a very poorly graphic designed website about Dijo Thomas.
I'm just some of the things I'm seeing. I guess he did something about the chupacabra, or he has opinions on that. And
he's an environmental activist. He travels all over South India. He has done numerous censuses from his college days. He's cooperating with various nature clubs, farmer groups, other conservation groups, and stuff like that. He takes classes and he educates local people. It also says he's a defense analyst, one of the top 3 senior-most defense analysts in India. He is for a strong India with strong armed forces, unlike other activists. He's also a foreign affairs analyst, a political analyst. There's a picture of him at a conference. That's like a real picture, so that's good. He designs 3 new types of ships for the Indian Navy, which no other navy in the world has. He's a web designer. Well, that I can clearly see is not... I mean, the website is just not very good. I'm sorry to DJ Thomas, but he has all these other things going on, so I can understand. He's also a mystic philosopher. Yes?
I'm more interested in DJ Thomas than I am the cryptid now.
No, I for real, like, when I'm reading this website, it's very interesting. He's saying that elephants can read the mind of human beings. He's been following wild elephants for more than 15 years. Oh, we can email him at DJ Thomas. He has a Gmail account. Okay, so I don't think he has a PhD. He is clearly very... Right, exactly. So that's not saying anything. It's unclear even what his major is, if he has a college degree. And I just don't see any links to, like...
You said he proved whatever that other thing was? Apparently he's already also proved that the chupacabra is real.
Oh.
So...
here is his article or something from September 2019 about proving that the Nilagiri charivan is real, or at least declaring it as a new species. So it says, if you go to Oti and ask anyone about Nai Sirutai, they will immediately tell you all about what it is. Many, including children, have seen it all over Nilgiris. They will tell you that Nai Sirutai comes in the night to catch their dogs, but it also looks almost like a dog, but a little different. What is it? Is it Nilagiri Kaduva? The tiger? The answer is no. Everyone there knows about it.
Sorry, I'm just fascinated by this guy.
If you've seen it, please message me. I will message you back. The largest circulating newspaper in Tamil Nadu reports on the Nilagiri charivan on 21st September 2019. It has a slanted body like a German Shepherd, which is bad because German Shepherds have been inbred to get that look. So if a wild animal has that look, that's not a good thing. However, it's a mix of gray and light brown and pale yellow. Some people might say it looks like black and white. And now that is interesting because I was reading that one thing that could explain the Pogeyan is a special morph of a leopard. There's one called like Snowflake or something. I forgot exactly what it's called. But it looks sort of like lace, like it's a black background and like white spotting all over. That could sort of look like mist, like a smoky gray. And it is black and white. So that description sort of tracks with a sort of mutated leopard. And then this animal's main prey, again, is dogs. He estimates, this is interesting. He estimates the largest population occurs in Oti and Nilgiris. He says there are about 10 to 15. So,
not very many.
What do you know? Yes. If you have 10 to 15 animals, that is it's not a realistic number.
Yeah.
Right?
It's much lower than the MVP.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be pro. I haven't really heard anything very convincing about this thing being real.
Well, I'm not going to say I think that he has done a lot of good scientific work on this topic, but I would say there are some images here, clips from newspapers. I will agree that there's probably some leopards in this area, melanistic leopards. Even I watched a clip of one of the documentaries made by Sandesh Kadur, and it mentions that Shere Khan and Bagheera live in the Western Ghats. Bagheera is basically the Pogeyan, like a black leopard, right?
Okay. But I
Uh,
mean, a melanistic leopard isn't a cryptid, though. It's a known and
yes.
studied animal.
Well, it would be easier to be pro if I had better information about this creature.
I mean,
However, here's a positive point I will say. This is a dense and underdescribed area. In 2003, that's quite recent, a new species, the purple frog, was found there. There have been many species found there recently. Who knows what else could be there? It's not very many people, and it's hard to get to. Camera traps often don't work for many creatures to find them. So if everyone in an area says that something is there, and it's sort of hard to get there, and not many people have studied it, why not? Why wouldn't it be real? I mean, why shouldn't it be real?
I just think the burden of proof lies on the people making the claim. I will say though, like being like a small population of leopards that are a little different for whatever reason doesn't sound too ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
every few years there's like some genetic study that's like, oh, there's actually this many species of this animal or this many subspecies because they didn't do any genetic testing.
Right.
So being like some leopards that are technically a subspecies doesn't sound too crazy to me.
Well, I will say, I think if you temper like if you take into account the sort of lack of expertise on wildlife biology terminology that Dejo Thomas has, let's take his claims and just reinterpret them. So he's saying there's 10 to 15, and he's saying what they look like and how they hunt. Perhaps it isn't a new species, but it is a distinct population because it can't be a species with only 10 to 15 of them, and it doesn't seem different enough from leopards. But perhaps it's a group that has learned a different way to hunt, and they sort of look different. And the 10 to 15 does support that because,
Inbreeding.
like, yeah, there's inbreeding, and it's enough that you could see them sometimes, but it's not so much that you'd have to say, wait, how is this a species that no one has ever seen?
Yeah. And the thing about them mostly going after dogs, I know in like different cities in India, that's a big problem that leopards go after dogs.
Mm-hmm. And it is, like I said, it's farmed areas, so there
Right.
probably isn't a lot of wildlife for these creatures to eat.
Right, but maybe a
makes
lot
sense.
of dogs that the farmers have.
Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. Like, there's a really big deep dive. There's not a lot on the creature, but then there is a lot on this guy's website. So it's just something to think about. I'm looking at the pictures in Sandesh Kadur's children's book right now. There's a quote, it says, "On his first expedition to the Western Ghats, he had his first encounter with a mysterious cat. Uncle Sandy has been on its trail ever since, hoping to click a picture of it for evidence." It's very good. He went to watering holes. He saw a tiger there. The tiger did not tell him where the creature was. He saw elephants. He saw deer. He saw a monkey. He saw a frog. Then he saw that the forests are getting cut down, and it looks like there's not a lot of places left for the cat to hide. Then he encounters someone who lives in the area, a local tribesman. He says, "Where can I find the special cat I'm looking for? I've seen it only once before." "Are you talking about Pogeyan?" he said. "The cat that comes and goes as the mist. Are you referring to that elusive cat that exists?" He says, "Aha, I've seen the cat over there all of 3 times in close up." He pointed to the mountains. So he went up and he set up his camera traps in the mountains, and he did see them, which I didn't know. I mean, maybe this is fictional, like what he hopes happened, because I thought that he never found it on the camera traps. Oh yeah, it says it was a dream. He prayed his dream would come true, hope he finds his gray cat soon. Don't you? And he's still looking for Pogeyan. That's what it says on the epilogue. So I will say that Dejo Thomas sounds like an interesting fellow. It's hard to say how much of what he says is true, but Sandesh Kadur, like, why would we not believe him? If he's saying he saw something and he's seen a lot of animals in his job as a wildlife photographer, and he keeps looking for it, why don't we, like, go along on the journey and believe him that there's something out there?
Could be something out there.
Could be
Don't know
something
what
out
it's
there.
a completely new animal though.
Well, I would really like if Sandesh or Dijo would reach out to us. That would be really awesome. We
Sure.
could even interview them on this podcast.
Maybe.
That can be one of the calls we make if we get to, what was
We
it,
cold call
10K?
them.
Well,
Did you
I'll
see the
cold
cat or
email
not?
them. Put them on a conference call with each other. They probably hate each other.
Yeah. They're rivals for some reason.
I mean, they would be because one of the guys has never seen it, and I don't think so, and he has a scientific name for it. And the other guy has seen it, but he hasn't claimed that it's a new species at all. So they probably clash all the time. It's probably like, oh, that hack, and the other guy's probably like, oh, that he's not a dreamer, you know.
Yeah. So like all those famous rival movies like Ford versus Ferrari or like The Prestige or something. Someone
Tesla
used to
versus
make this
Edison.
movie. Sorry?
Tesla versus Edison.
Yeah. We need
Yeah,
I've already what's her name? Dijo and Sam was
Sandesh.
it?
Sandy versus Dijo.
Yeah.
It does sound good.
You know that actually I would think would be interesting though. Imagine the setting in this rural
Yeah,
Indian tea farm and like
it sounds
throughout
amazing.
and throughout the movie you're not even sure if it's real and there's a few little like glimpses here and there.
I'd like to go there to the
Yeah, me
southern
too.
India highlands and like just walk around and then see if we can find them. Sandy and Dijo. Dijo would probably love to see us.
I like that we're like there, we don't even find the animal. We just like we look behind a bush and we see like Dijo like it's me.
Updating his website from his phone.
Yeah. Okay, we move on to news.
Yeah, sure.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel for full episodes or download the MP3 from the links below.